What's going on today? It's the 1% again. And today we've got a special guest. We've got Kaidi over here. We're talking about some big things today. I want to introduce Kaidi. So Kaidi, we want to know who you are, what you do. People want to know. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kaidi. I'm a beauty business owner. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No worries. No worries. I'm glad that you're here because at the end of the day, what's the 1% about? We want to benefit our audience. We want to give value. And at the same time, this is a bit of a different channel. This time it's a different episode. This time we're going to be talking about a bit of a thing where I like to talk about when it comes to two different sides. So what is the biggest two different sides? What splits two different sides in the day-to-day life that we live in, a male and female, right? So today we've got a topic to speak about, and obviously we have Kaidi over here. This is one of the main reasons why we have Kaidi here. She's obviously I don't know if she said it, but like she's a successful business owner, and you know she knows a lot about business and everything. But normally what the 1% covers and what we talk about normally in the 1% is, you know, like the sort of things when it comes to entrepreneurs and successful businessmen and advices and whatever. But this time it's a bit different. And this time it's about what makes and breaks a man and a woman in a relationship. We're going to talk about that. We're going to give value. We're going to share our value. And at the same time, we're going to clash no matter what. Kaidi's got her own thoughts. I've got my own thoughts. I believe in certain things. She believes in certain things. And you can't have a 20-minute conversation with a male and female, right, sitting on a table, and it's definitely going to go smooth. It's always going to have a bit of obstacles, right? So Kaidi's here for that reason. Now, Kaidi,
Yes.
I want to speak to you about, the thing is, right, men think that they understand women fully, right? And even like boys think that they understand girls to a complete, amazing sort of potential. I genuinely don't believe that. We always stumble. We always, feel like, okay, she thinks this way, or, she's thinking that way, and this is the right way she's thinking. But I genuinely think that girls have a different sort of sigma, a different sort of, I would say like a different sort of emotion, thinking in sort of way completely different to us, like completely different to how we are. Like right now, I could be in like, a relationship with a girl and whatever. And like, I am feeling like, I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling like, you know what, like like I know the relationship's going to go smooth and everything. And you know how these emotions are like tickling, right? And it's like,
Yes.
You think that it's actually what she's thinking of, her emotions are and everything, but that's not the case, right? So like, I want to know from you, right? What do you reckon, like, breaks and, what makes and breaks a man and a woman in a relationship? What's sort of a few significant factors that you can bring on board here that you reckon right now, if a man and a woman, right, were to get into a relationship or are married or are whatever, like, what do you think makes or breaks them in any way, like in that sort of sense?
Honestly, I think it's being secure in yourself. Like if you're individually like not secure in yourself, then a lot of times people rely on the other person for their happiness kind of thing.
When it comes to happiness, like, what do you think? Like, do you reckon that a man is happy with a woman that thinks the same way? Because how many times have we seen relationships where it's very toxic, but it lasts for quite a long time? Because both sides are scared to leave, like, what do you think? Because obviously, yes, there's going to be insecurities from both sides. There's going to be different thoughts. There's going to be whatever. But like, what do you think in that sense? Like, what makes a relationship, do you reckon, in that sort of sense? Like when it comes to, a man and a woman dating. And like, at the end of the day, if we were to talk about like a boy dating a girl, like it's immature. It's irrelevant to talk about that. I'm talking about the maturity level where a man is about to date a woman or a man is about to get married to a woman. What are the significant factors that you can bring on board right now and tell us about when it comes to, making the whole relationship? What are some key points, you reckon?
Some key points, definitely trust, honesty, loyalty for sure. But I believe it's also to do with your like upbringing, how you were raised, your culture.
Do you reckon two different cultures clash in a relationship? What do you think of that?
Yes, I feel like 100%. If you don't have an understanding of their culture, it's not going to work.
Well, like in regards to culture, like even for us, for example, like I'm a Muslim Arab, right? And like for me, there's a lot of lines for me. Like there's a lot of lines already drawn for me as a Muslim Arab, right? Like what we believe in our culture and in our religion is like you shouldn't have, you shouldn't be, in a relationship in the first place with the other side unless you're engaged, then married and whatever, right? And I believe that's like the utmost way of, building as an amazing relationship with that person, this is what genuinely makes the relationship. I feel like my religion, like as a Muslim, what I believe is like that sort of sense where it tells you, hey, look, you shouldn't get married, like you shouldn't, commit intercourse with this person. You shouldn't, whatever. You should actually get to know the person through the family, because that's one way of showing your respect back to the family. Over time, it's going to build, right? Over time, you're going to know the family better. You're gonna know the girl's culture. You're gonna know how her dad behaves, how her mom behaves, how whatever, and you get to get an understanding of her personality.
Yeah.
And then when you build that, what happens over time is you find yourself getting married to a person that you're gonna last forever with. Yes, not in all cases, but I can genuinely tell you, every time someone's actually followed the ways of our religion, I can genuinely tell you their relationships have lasted a lot longer than a man and a woman just dating and breaking up the next day. So I would want to know more about your culture. Like, what is it when it comes to that?
Are you saying like you just want to get to know their personality, like
getting to know their personality? And as a man, I believe that how things should work out between you and the girl and the woman and the other side is, if you're about their looks, you're not about the relationship. Don't fall into that, right? If you're about the personality, then be that man. Because a lot of men say, hey, I'm about the personality. Like, I like the girl. I really like her for her personality. But then 2-3 months in before marriage, they're already committing intercourse and whatever. And it's not something that works out later down the line.
You got to have that attraction. You got to have that balance. If there's no like attraction and just personality, then like you can actually lose attraction.
I think attraction is toxic though. I believe attraction is very toxic. Like, if you're attracted to the person, it somehow overlaps the personality. All the time we've seen it happen. If you're invested in the girl with her personality, a lot more than her looks, a lot more than, her complete body and everything, I believe that there is a lot better than, having some attraction in some ways, okay, but I believe over time, the problem with having attraction is men are weak these days. We're not talking about men in the 90s. We're talking about men in 2023, where if a girl leaves that person on scene, they're going crazy. Yeah. Back then, we didn't have that. Now we're having that. So why I talk about look for the personality, look for the girl and how she is with her mother, how she's with her father, how she's around the whole family, how she treats the people who she's most comfortable with. Because who are you comfortable with these days, right? Who are you most comfortable with? Your family. You are yourself with your family. You are the true person of yourself when you're around your family. Because when you're around your family, you're comfortable. You're comfortable at going off at your brother, or you're comfortable of going off at your mother and disrespecting your mother and disrespecting your father. That's your personality. That is one way to literally see black and white on a piece of paper in a person's personality. And I believe the best way to find a girl's personality and to see if she's the right fit for you is to see how she is with her family. That's why in my religion, as a Muslim, we are urged to get to know the family. We are urged to get to know the girl on a personal level around her family. And then we get to decide, without committing intercourse, without going on dates and whatever, which barely last, 2-3 months. And the next minute it's see you later. Like, what don't you believe, like right now, the relationships that we see, like it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, she's posting him on Instagram, he's posting her on Instagram. They have the most loving relationship. 2-3 months in, it's over. Just like that.
I think the issue is social media, because there's like people posting this and it's like, why am I not getting this? Like it's sort of like comparing kind of thing.
Yeah, I believe that. That's true as well.
Like I feel like social media has ruined like our generation with...
Over time, it has. Over time, when it first started, it was okay. Like, remember back in 2020, 2012 and whatever, like the whole Sigma and the whole sort of, the whole side of relationships was a different story. It was like more of, I would believe like back then, relationships lasted a lot longer than now. Like over time, like right now, how toxic is it for a relationship, even for a married couple, right? For a person to follow a different, like as a man, I'll go and follow this girl, right? And I've got a wife and whatever, and my wife's going crazy over it. Like how important did social media become over time is crazy, right? In the people's relationships.
I feel like those relationships that doesn't post each other are like the proper solid ones. I feel like when I see a relationship always posting like everything, I reckon that's just like they're just putting an image out there trying to make everyone believe. Like so they can believe it themselves more that they're solid.
But what if it's because of the other side? Let's say right now, right, you're in a relationship with someone and you are the social media sort of girl to prove to you that he's giving you attention to the followers that he has, for example. He's posting you to show his loyalty in some way.
I 100%, you shouldn't hide your partner. I'm not saying like you shouldn't hide it. I do believe like you should like
So what, like, do you reckon social media makes or breaks a relationship? What do you reckon? Does it break or make relationships? I believe it's broken a lot more relationships than what it's made.
Break.
Definitely.
Break.
100%.
100%.
Like, we're kind of agreeing on things right now, which is good. Like it's a good start, you know. But like
100%
social media, I genuinely believe that as well. And over time, seeing how people have become with social media, they become like fanatics. Like it's social media, and that's the main important thing. Yeah, my relationship with her is one thing, but social media is a whole nother level. This is what matters to me most, you know. So like back to what I was saying before. Culture-wise, religion-wise, that's a whole different story. But we are wanting to talk about what we're in control of now. Because people right now, they're not that religious anymore. Even the people that we, you know, the so-called Muslims and everything, like they're mostly getting into relationships, you know, like forbidden relationships with the other side and whatever. And even at that stage, we've kind of like, we are all to blame, you know, like I'm genuinely saying I'm not the most perfect Muslim, but I can tell you now, we need to talk about what we're in control of. And what we're about here is about value. We're about giving value back. So I believe, right, for, you know, as a Muslim, as someone that comes from culture, whatever, I believe, right, if you are really wanting that person and you're really wanting like that person to like you're wanting that person for a very long time, you're wanting to get married to that person and whatever, I believe that you need to be real to yourself. Because a man, what makes a man? A man is when, look, every man knows himself. Like right now, I know myself. I know my limits. I know what I want. I know how I am. You, deep inside you, you have that hole in you where you know exactly how you are as a person, right? Now, the main thing that makes a man's personality is them being real to it, like you being real to yourself. Like right now, if I'm fake to myself in many ways, like I say, yeah, I'm a man, I stand for this, I stand for that. I promise myself I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4 tomorrow, but it doesn't end up happening. I'm breaking that trust within myself. I'm breaking that sort of respect and loyalty within myself. So in the relationship side of things, if I'm looking for a girl, if I'm looking for a woman that I genuinely want to get married to, for me to be real to myself, for me to be that man, I need to stick with the boundaries. I need to stick with the things that are within my religion. And why I say religion, because my religion there is the most perfect way, and this is genuinely what I believe, it's the most perfect way of sticking to an orientation which later leads me to be married to this person and have a lasting, long relationship that's blessed by God. Now, excluding the side of things where blessed by God is, right? Let's talk about the people who aren't religious. Like the people who aren't religious, the people who aren't Muslim. Well, even that in some sort of sense, when it comes to my religion, it makes sense. Like looking at factors, looking at how things are, when people follow this sort of thing that my religion teaches where, hey, look, you don't need to be married to this person, right? Okay, you need to get to know them more, but do not commit anything with them. Right? Yes. Do not do something outside of the line with them yet.
Yes.
How many times do we see people that commit intercourse, right? And the next day or the day after, the relationship's over. Yeah. The value is lost. Yes, the value 100%. In a woman is through her personality. It's not through her looks.
Yes.
So her looks and her personality both break when the man commits the intercourse before the marriage. Yeah. Because marriage is a lot more serious when it comes to saying, yeah, I'm going to break up with her. Like imagine right now in a relationship, right? How easy is it for both sides to be like, you know what? I'm done, you know, she's done. I don't care. We're in a relationship. Who gives a fuck, right? But when it comes to marriage, your family was there. They witnessed that. Your cousins, your families, other side. And it's a lot harder to say, I'm going to let go of this person. Because at the end of the day, what does marriage bring around as well? It brings around the kids. Because at one stage or another, in one day or another, you want to build a whole empire with this person. You look at it completely different. And that's why we see a lot of relationships break. That's why relationships break because they're not following these boundaries. They're not following the boundaries of literally not committing any sort of intercourse, not seeing the person. Obviously, attraction is important. Yes, why would you be with someone that you're not attracted to? That's 100%. But because of how weak men have become over time, attraction is always overlooping the personality of the person. And that's why relationships break.
Have you ever seen a solid relationship, obviously, that has had intercourse, that is like they found that soulmate? Have you ever actually witnessed that?
The only relationships I would say that's worked in that sense is when they were very, very young. A young couple that's always found each other since young.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're young and it's like your first love or whatever, it's a completely different sort of thing to like, you know, your third, fourth love when you've grown up later. And honestly, even for men, over time, committing intercourse and everything, that there makes them lose value in women. That there makes them lose value. And that there is what breaks their relationship with the person that they're wanting to get married to one day. Because over time, when you do it repetitively, like that there breaks the whole entire orientation of, look, you gotta be for one person. This is the person only. It's coming one day or another. Do not give yourself in, because what are you doing when you're giving yourself in with intercourse?
I feel like it's having that connection, but you know, it's having that special connection with someone.
Yeah, well,
you know, I feel like you gotta like.
Okay, speaking of the connection that you were just speaking about now, speaking of that now, the connection that you're talking about, because you're building that connection with that person, you've built it with other people before as well. So what makes this one different? What makes this one different?
I feel
you think you have it, but it's all bullshit. It's only in the time being.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know, though.
Okay, but I feel like curiosity leads to a relationship lasting a lot longer when it comes to that.
Obviously not have it straight off the bat, first time meeting. 100% not. But like, obviously, eventually, before marriage, I do believe you definitely should be
like I said to you, what we talk about what we can control of right now, and what we're able to control is like, look, if you really like her, if you really want to build that relationship with her, and if you're true to yourself as a man, you're saying, yes, I do like her, and you're about her personality more than her looks, then stick to what you're saying. Don't go there. Don't go there. It's going to be hard. There's going to be urges. And as men, we all have urges. Of course, no matter what. But the thing is, I kind of see
it's
these
literally
days
a known
is men
fact.
are easily manipulated by women in many ways.
Yeah.
The woman, right? The woman, if she sees that she's easily manipulating the man, it's a very scary thing, because at the end of the day, men are much weaker than back then. Right? Don't you agree?
Could be vice versa. Keep in mind, women get manipulated by men too.
Of course,
yes, of course.
100%. And it becomes very toxic. I've seen that many times.
But I feel like the thing is, like, if they're not getting it at home, they're going to go and look for it somewhere else. Yeah. That's why men cheat.
Okay, well...
That is why.
Well, I think the most perfect man to a woman, right? The most perfect
Is there such thing as a perfect man?
100%. And I'll tell you the perfect man. And I'll tell you the perfect man. The perfect man to a woman is the man that around other girls, he's got his guard up completely. A very high guard up. Even the past relationships he's had with these sort of girls, he's kept his guard up. He wasn't showing himself, right? Because he's had his guard up the whole time. The man that's true to you is a man that tells you everything. Not only tells you everything, but also like a man that shows his emotions. Because for a man to show his emotions, it means that he's giving and he's showing you his weak point. And that there's a very big obstacle for a man, especially if he's considering himself a man, right? Okay, because there's certain men that consider themselves men, but in many ways they act like feminists, the way they are, okay? But I'm talking about men that around other women, they have their guard up. They don't like previous women they've been around in relationships with. They didn't raise their concerns. They didn't raise their emotions or whatever. They've always had their guard up because they were always scared, right? The right man is over time, right? When you've built that sort of relationship, he's showing you his complete emotions.
See, I feel like if you still have your guard up, then no way the relationship was going to work anyways.
Well, at the start you do, because remember, you have to trust the person at the start.
Yeah,
both sides have guards up.
Yeah, you build that. But like, obviously you say like he's always had that guard up. If he's always had that guard up, then it was never going to work.
So what do you think that like pretty much having like a relationship with a person at the start before marriage is significantly important?
100%.
Do you reckon that makes the relationship and it makes it last longer, like for whatever is to come?
Wait, repeat yourself?
Like, do you think that if right now I get into a relationship with another side, right, and I get to know the person more and whatever, over time we can connect and then we can get married? Or you reckon get to know the person through their family, get to know the person through their personality, around the people around them, and then over time get married without intercourse, without any of that? What lasts longer, do you reckon?
from my experience, my culture, I only know that first way. I've never witnessed the second one.
Yeah. Well, to give you value from my
that.
way, to give you value from the Muslim way.
Yes.
And this is like, look, I'm not being biased here. Like I'm just being very, very honest with you about this, right? The way that we're like, the way we are when it comes to relationships, the way we are is we're not allowed, and we shouldn't, nowhere near commit any sort of intercourse with a person, be near the person around like just each other, like just by ourselves. We need to be around other people, right? And at the same time, we need to obviously introduce both sides of the families, right? Through the families, we're able to meet. Through the families after that, we're able to be and get engaged. That's before getting married. That engagement, right? Look, what I love about being engaged, it just shows that you're serious about the relationship. Because at the end of the day, when you're engaged, who comes to your engagement? There's witnesses, people sitting around, everyone's happy for you. Yeah. It's a whole different thing than picking up the phone. Hey, how are you doing? Let's get in a relationship. And then 3-4 months later, it's done and over with, right? So like,
but I feel like you don't know someone until like you live with that person too. That the true colors you like comes out when you actually know their daily routine. Does each other daily routine clash? Yeah. Or can you guys like...
Yeah, but like why would someone... See, that's why in a lot of relationships, things go fake. A lot of people say, he was fake, she was fake, she cheated on me, he cheated on me, whatever. Why? Because both sides weren't committed. Both sides were bullshitting to each other. Both sides were friends with benefits or gained for their benefit, right? Whatever it was. It shows your true colors. You committing to whatever going to come. When you say yes to the engagement, when there's witnesses around, there's people there, everyone's happy, everyone's heard about it. This is a big step you're taking. Because to take a step back from that is a lot harder, right, than a relationship that just comes and goes. Because that there is significantly different. You've brought people in, there's people around, you're obviously committing yourself by being engaged to that person.
I feel like that's putting pressure.
It's like official.
Like that is really putting so much pressure on the relationship. Going straight into...
In what sense? How would
you're saying going straight like into engagement.
No, but how would an engagement put pressure on you, right? When I just said to you, like, look, you can get to know the person, right, through the family, and then over time, if you're happy with that, get engaged.
But like, if get to know someone through the family, like I want to make sure they are like the one before they can meet my family, you know?
Yeah, but okay, no, 150%. But what it is when you're around the family, you can be around each other, but you can't be privately around each other alone. Because what happens here when a man and a woman are alone? There's urges for many things, right, that aren't meant to be happening, right? And this is what all religions talk about, like on a basis of where they're like most religions are like in some ways or another pretty much quite similar, right? Very similar. And in many of the religions, right, even in Christianity, it says like you shouldn't commit anything with the other side or even be around the other side by themselves, by alone, right, without actually being around other people. Because obviously at the end of the day, men think different and women think different.
So you can't be together privately. No, you can't. No. Then how can you understand that person, get to know that person? Like that should be private. That's between you and that person, no one else in the room. Well,
at the end of the day, how I said it to you was just before I said to you, look, when you're committed to that person, you want to get engaged over time, you can see each other, whatever. But when you're engaged to that person, right, when you get engaged, it's a whole new step. So it's up to you because remember, both sides, when they're taking that step, what is it showing? When both sides are taking that step, it's showing seriousness from both sides. I'm serious about you, you're serious about me. We've met through our families. We've kept that respect for each other. And remember, one thing about relationships which is important is you got to remember that the relationship have this thing where it needs to continuously stay respectful for it to grow for a very long time. How do you keep it respectful? Do not commit intercourse with the person. Do not obviously fall for attraction for the person a lot more than their personality, because their personality is more important. If you're falling for their attraction, it shows that you care about their attraction, like their looks and everything, a lot more than their personality, and that there's going to be toxic. You know you're wasting the person's time. Because if one person is serious, right, now let's say I'm serious about you, right, and I'm wanting to like have a long-lasting relationship, whatever. I'm about your personality. You're about my looks. We're going to clash. We need to be both serious. What makes it serious? What makes us mature? What makes us really want something? What makes us build an empire? When we're both about personality, getting to know each other a lot more than the looks and the things that we care about nowadays. And that's why men are weak these days. 2023, 2024, men these days, completely crumble, fall instantly when women, right, are like doing the least sort of thing, not showing a bit of attention to them and showing it to other people. It's like a whole new thing. Like, I can't even take this for men these days. And it just drives me crazy, like how a man could do that. But like, at the end of the day, you've allowed it to happen to you. You've allowed yourself to be manipulated by that, and it's going to affect you no matter what. So like, I believe that like at the end of the day, if you really want a relationship going, if you really want to build an empire with that person, personality, yes, obviously being attracted in some ways for that person is quite important, as we can both agree on that. Yeah. But at the same time, personality is always important. If looks and attraction for the person loops that over time, one day or another, the relationship is going to break, then actually, you know, last for a very, very long time. So that's my belief on that. Obviously, you have different beliefs, and you know,
it's definitely to do with more like upbringings, like I said, it all is to do with that.
Yeah.
Like especially that's how it makes someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say each their own with that one.
Of course, yeah, each to their own, and like, you know, once again, Kaidi, thanks for being on here. Like, she had a lot of knowledge. Obviously, like, I'm quite the person when it comes to this sort of topics. I'm very serious about it, because at the end of the day, like, my religion has shown me a different side of things. And yes, you might have a different perspective, but because of what my religion has shown me on how relationships unfold, and don't get me wrong, I'm not the most perfect guy. I've been in relationships before myself, right? Like, I've been in that, and it's like, it's never worked out because I just never followed the guidelines. I never followed what my religion was teaching me, because it showed me the other side. It showed me people who follow it, they have a long-lasting, happy relationship with their spouses. They were serious from the start. They weren't obviously, you know, looking for their attraction or whatever, and it lasted a lot longer than, you know, the relationships that we talk about now, which is boyfriend, girlfriend sort of thing. So once again, Kaidi, thank you for being on here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 1%. I hope we shared value today. We'll see you next time. Okay.
Thank you. Oh my God.
That was fucking good.
It was, look, man, at first I was falling asleep, bro, but then when it started to pick up, it picked up, bro. I got my popcorn.
That's proper. Yeah, we killed it.
Did I? Oh my God. I feel like you're the one talking. Never.
First time? It's crazy.
Really?
That is absolutely
We're
crazy.
not getting it up. You did that amazing.
Really?
You did. You had points. You had very good facts.
Yeah. I feel like our practice one was better. Low key. Don't you reckon?
This one's good. But do you know how it's good?
This crazy.
You know how you're doing good? Because every time you said something that was good, me and guys should look at each other like,
Yeah,
we did that a lot. We did that a
Like, yeah, she's
Hey, by the way, next one, the next two, like the next one we're actually gonna do, you're gonna get more time than me. So this one, I've given it more time to myself because this is a big topic, and I need to obviously overrule. Like, I cannot lose in this one. Like, no way.
To be honest, I wish I was in that podcast, man. I had some points to back you up as well.
Yeah, like,
I would have been the LeBron. No, you would have been the LeBron. I would have been the Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, but bro.
Oh, well, 2 on 1.
Next one, we're gonna give you a lot more time. So next one, you're gonna be a lot more confident. Next one, I'm gonna give you a lot more time. I'll just start throwing questions and whatever, and get you to speak. Okay. And then from there, the next one is definitely gonna be by far more talking than this, because you barely talked here and there.
I know,
which is okay, but that's fine. That's what I did. I did one.
Give her a chance, bro.
I know.
I was talking to Hack. I was
like, bro, he's like, let her talk more.
I know that. But
I was like,
extremely good. Bro, trust me. There's a reason why I did this.
Told me, I was like, damn, relax.
Always, because you didn't have time to speak. But the next one, you're gonna have more time than me. I'll lay out the questions. Don't worry. I'll lay the whole roadmap. I'll get you. You know, every time you're about to stop, do you see how I was throwing something? You see how I just picked up right on it?
I know.
And I was like, oh yeah, but you know, like talking about boom, boom. Okay, yeah, move on. Next one is going to be you talk. The moment I hear stopping, boom, I throw something in. A whole new system comes into you, a whole new thinking. You follow that. It's done. And then the third one is easy because it's just questions. Literally reading out questions from a thing, and then me answering it and you answering it, and that's it.
Okay.
You killed it though.
Yeah, you did definitely. Yeah, 100%. Like for a first podcast, well done. Honestly.
Really?
Podcast is going to be hard to edit. I'm going to have a good time editing this one. I'm going to be like, ooh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be fun.
You gonna send it through first? Can I see this before you guys?
Of course, yeah. We'll send it to you.
Oh yeah, we'll send it to you.
100%. We'll send you the.
Oh no, not right.
But hey, that was good. That was crazy.
Okay.
Alright, look, I know you need to go home, so.